Hi, this is Hi Bob Poor Bob, and we're about to play some Ultimate General Civil War. So I made some changes. I went back and I refought some battles. The main goal in refighting this battle was Newport News, and I will show you what changed. All I did was fight Newport News about 5 or 6 times until I finally got this. So it resulted in me going to 27 to 32 armory instead of being at 17 to 22. And what this basically does is it means at Bull Run they will have all Lorenzes. So whenever I beat Bull Run, instead of getting like 800 Springfields and 800 Palmettos, I got 2,800 Lorenzes, just straight up. I got less infields in the other battle, so I will only have 1,700 Lorenzes, infields this time. But I think the fact that I got, instead of getting 500 Lorenzes, I got 2,800. I can't even compare that at all. And then I made sure and I killed off the majority of my allied troops. My kill to death ratio in Bull Run actually ended up being even better than my kill to death ratio before. It was a 27.39, but my kill to loss ratio in Newport News was lower, mostly because by the 5th time I was playing it, I was a little bit annoyed. And I just kind of rushed it, and so instead of getting like 200 losses, I got like 372. But on Bull Run, it was super easy. I went ahead and downloaded the UI mod, so now I can tell I'm on Legendary. Woo! Which makes so much difference, I'm sure. It also allows me to see the range of cannons, and I turned off scaling, and I turned off most everything else. I did not turn off the perks, so I do have different perks than before. Slightly different, or fixed ones is, that's what I've been told, is that they're actually fixed to be correct now. My general, I did start on on the Potomac Fort that I already had done, so I didn't get any benefit here, which is fine, no big deal. Found out that my Potomac Fort, after my Potomac Fort, was actually pretty good. I actually got a boost to armory after the Potomac Fort, so I didn't need to redo it to try to get a boost to weapons there. I just feel like getting a boost to weapons just a little bit early, yes, you have to fight against better weapons, but then you get better weapon drops. And that many Lorenzes at this point in the game, that's, well, I can just throw in, well, for one thing, I'm gonna buy the Lorenzes. What does that put me up to? 4,800? It's almost 3 units worth, depending on what size of units I go with. That's huge in my mind. Like that's a huge upgrade over what I had before. Now the question comes down to what am I gonna do for my setup. Am I gonna mix in raw recruits into these, or am I going to go straight up? And I think it's going to be a mix of the two.
Yes, sir.
So what I'm doing here is I'm making sure that then I can get this no bar kernel without, so I get an extra kernel during this. I think Jackson's better, so we'll put Jackson in charge of this division. So now we got a brigadier general in charge of all our divisions. That guy looks a little bit higher, so we'll go ahead and
Yes, sir.
Switch out him. We will probably need a few more. Yeah, we'll definitely need more lieutenant colonels and maybe even a major, just to be able to have enough guys. Even I think we do have a captain that we could put on something, but I don't think I'm going to use the captain right now. Oh, and in this run, I wrote down my cannon because I don't know, I didn't want it at the moment, so I just decided to get rid of it. Okay, let's go ahead and get these up to 1500.
Yes, sir.
I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to dilute my new units by like about half. So 6,000 men is what I brought into the last battle, but I lost like 300. I'm thinking I'll go ahead and buy just a few more. So you can either get morale and efficiency or stamina and speed. Yeah, and then you got, I think most of these are pretty similar to what they were before. Firearms accuracy reload, firearms accuracy. Yeah, those are just reverse of each other for the accuracy and reload, but the firearms is the same on both of them. And then sharpshooter efficiency, firearms spotting, efficiency, morale, stamina, melee. See, the whole thing is that at this point, like, your efficiency bar is probably almost maxed by the time you get to 3 stars. So sharpshooter might not even make that much difference for efficiency. My melee is usually always lower than the others, just because it's really hard to get melee up on everybody. But, so I think I'll be picking more of those, because the 10% spotting just isn't really that good. But that won't come up for quite some time, I don't think. I don't think that's going to be a today kind of problem. That's going to be like a couple weeks from now problem. Okay, we'll go ahead and do that. And then we will break down all of our units. And we should be able to make pretty decent 2 stars. So like efficiency, well, let's look at this. Okay. So efficiency 27 instead of 16, morale 21, goes up to 36, stamina of 38. I mean, it's higher than with the perk, so it's 12 points higher, I think. Yeah. Firearms is better. I think I get +5 firearms from my leader, so it would be at 20, so it's 10 higher. Melee would be at 21, so it is the exact same. I had no benefit. I have not been in melee like basically at all with my units. I did let the AI units get in melee some, but for the most part, I stayed out of melee. So now, oh, that kind of stinks. I just bought like 500 of those for no reason. So unlike this guy, I can put him in and get a star up. So in this one I get 10 units. So let's see what we can do here. Let's go with 1700. See how that rounds out. Ooh, yeah, see that's halfway to being a 2-star. It is with a brigadier, but
Yes,
most
sir.
of them will get like let's see. Let's make sure and get him his perk. Okay. So those guys are probably coming in. I might give them like 200 each of these guys if I have some left over. We will see whenever we get to that point though. Okay, 1700. Let's go ahead and pick a 2-star. And keep going down through here. 1700 on the Lorenz. Go ahead and buy a 2-star. I want to buy all the 2-star, well, a lot of the 2-stars so I can raise them up. Now's a good time to do that. So I'll have to buy a few if I want to do 3 units of 1700. But it's really not that bad. Okay. Let's see, how much will this run me? 5,000. That's like what people usually spend on veterans. I just spent on guns instead. I think that buying that many guns is better than buying that many veterans in my book. Okay, so then we need one more, and I guess I'm gonna go ahead and splurge on another Mississippi. That is a little bit more expensive.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so now we've got our number of units. We go ahead and bump this guy up to probably 1750. We'll see how high we need to go to use up all of our men. A little bit higher than this, but let's get them all to 1750 first. And then we can decide where to go from there. Okay, so we have no Mississippis left, no Lorenzes left. So now we're looking at 4 units split across that. It would be 140 would be half, so 71 is what we want for the first 2.
Yes, sir.
And then the last ones are 70 instead. Okay, so we only bought 93 extra Springfields, so we really didn't do that bad. We bought like 600 of them, and we only bought 93 more than what we should have. That's really not bad. That's not that big a waste of money. Now, I do admit that for the most part, like, Springfields won't be good for very long, but I don't think I could buy enough of these guns to actually outfit all these men. So it's better to go ahead and get what I can. So we bought all the Enfields. We still have 2 2-stars left. What we could do is we could take one of the high 2-stars, I think. That guy, I think, could work on one of these guys. Still get him their star. And then we could go ahead and buy another 2-star to get him training up. Did I do that right? Yeah. I might be able to get away with my next highest 2-star doing the same. Because what we're really trying to do is build up colonels and better. Easiest way to do that is to... Ooh, see, yeah. 1700 is too many men for a major. So... At least that low of a star of a major. Low bar. So we could buy like a high star, high bar major and they would probably work. Or we could put, once we get like 2-star generals, we'll be able to put one of them here and then that will rank up the level of these high enough that you can use like low majors for 2,000 men, I think. At least 1700s you could probably do. So we're looking really good on money right now. Like I don't I don't see any problem with going ahead and buying up all those. And of course we'll want the howitzers and the parrot. So yeah, this is going to be an extremely heavy infantry build. I'm not going to lie. Like, I do some weird things with infantry that other people definitely don't do. That's for sure. So the next one will be, I think, supply convoy. And I am going to wipe them all out with just infantry. I think last game I used a unit of Whitworth's non-scoped for here. And they did okay. They got some experience. But for the most part, I think it was pretty much a waste. So this time I'm not going to buy any non-scoped Whitworths this early in the campaign. I might buy some later in the campaign. But for right now, I just don't really see the point. I'm definitely very happy that I went back and redid that. I was looking at my money and I could make it work. It was just like so much of a waste because I was wanting to buy Springfields and I was like, why on earth would I buy like 3K Springfields whenever I could just go back and I got 3K Springfields dropped by my allies by just letting them die instead of holding back with them and making sure that they didn't die. I made sure and I lost. So I lost 200 men. Remember that. 243 men or something like that. 6,700 men my ally lost. And all the artillery. I made sure that all the artillery died, so I got all those again. So I don't remember exactly what. And of course with his like UI mod, you do get guns whenever you capture enemies. So that one unit that I captured that had Lorenz's, I got quite a few Lorenz's for that. I don't know exactly how many. It's like 0.25 instead of 0.1, I think. And you actually get guns instead of losing guns. Like before, you would actually get fewer guns if you got captures. With his mod, you get about double and a half the guns whenever you capture. So instead of getting 0.1 for a shatter or a kill, you get a 0.25. So if you capture 1,000 men, you get 250 guns. Whereas if you shattered 1,000 men, shattered and killed 1,000 men, you would get 100 guns. Whereas before, whenever you captured men, you got nothing except the manpower. So I did capture like 1,800 men, I think. So I did get, no, it wasn't even 1,800, I don't think. 1,600 men. So that's like 250. It's probably 200, almost 300 more than I would have gotten if they had shattered, if I'd killed and shattered them instead. So it's not that many. So like instead of getting 2,500, I got 2,800. So it did save me a little bit of money, but really 300 Lorenz's is like 6.6K. Like that's not that much. It doesn't really, it's like capturing a supply wagon basically. And I think that that is a much more balanced game than getting nothing for captures, because captures are actually more difficult to do than just killing them. I could easily just stand back and kill them all almost every time. Like I haven't ever had any problem with that. Like if you guys have been watching my videos, like I know how to stand back and kill people. Don't have any problem with that. I try to also get captured sometimes by, stepping into my circles and just like touching guys, seeing if I can get them to surrender. And if you guys have watched, I mean, it works sometimes. But you actually have to take the risk to get in there. There's a chance they're going to try to break out the other side, or they'll all start routing towards that one unit that you send in to touch that guy, and suddenly everything just falls apart, which has happened a couple times. And you end up getting some captures usually whenever that happens, but I like it a lot better whenever it really works. And for every time that you guys saw that it did work, there's or work kind of, there's times that it definitely did not, because I definitely had some times that I had to start over a map because I had a perfect surround, and then I try to do something like that, and suddenly the entire game basically just ends whenever they route straight towards like all my artillery and just route and destroy like half my artillery. And it's just like I can't accept that. I had them completely surrounded. I was doing great, and then suddenly they just decide to route through 3 layers of men and straight into my artillery. Like it's not even fun. Well, guys, thank you for watching, and I hope this was informative of how I do things. Uh, I guess I'm just gonna put the rest of this into supply because I don't have anything else better to do with it. I guess I could buy this guy. Ooh, no. I have all my brigadier generals out, so let's go ahead and do that. Forgot. Well, pretty much out of money now. Oh, that's weird. So it like cut into the 2,500 supply that you get whenever I bought the brigadier general. That's interesting. I did not know that would happen. I think I'm gonna go with like. Did I put a 2-star on that guy before? I think I did. Yeah, that guy. And we can go with our lowest 3 stars too. No reason to use high kernels if we don't have to. I don't think. I mean, there's no real benefit from it. I don't think. Use my highest generals and make sure and always use as many brigades as many divisions as possible. That's a secret right there. Yep, 10 units. Going into ambush convoy next. Let's see here. Yep, 1,800 men. Well, the next one will be ambush convoy. See you in that one. So, quit the video if you don't want to get into a bunch of numbers. Like, this is the end of the actual video. So what we're going to do is this is my run that I did back before the first run that I ever did. And so this is what I took into ambush convoy. I was wrong saying that I took in a thing of skirmishers with Whitworths. I tried it, and I think it didn't work out very well. I needed obviously I can make it work now, I think, with only 8. I think I could do it with 8 infantry. It would be really close, but I think I could do it with 8 infantry. The problem with the skirmishers is that I kept either I would try to get them there and they would be in the way, and they would take shots, or I wouldn't be able to get them in the right place at the right time. So in this one, I obviously left my artillery and made a skirmisher unit, and I think he was going to have like Whitworths, but I decided that I needed the money, to buy more guns instead. So I ended up doing that. But of course, I didn't buy the infields. I didn't do the infield thing that I did now, and but like my points in here is exactly the same. I didn't buy the howitzers yet in this playthrough. I've bought them already. I bought the 20-pound parrot, and I still had money to put in my supply. Like, I had no supply in this. Yeah, like it was pretty dodgy not having any supply. Like, I just barely could outfit my men in this one, and in the new one I have way more men. So the other thing I wanted to show was what happens when I break down all my units. So I'm going to do it just to show you what the numbers are, and then I'll talk about what my numbers are in coordination with the other playthroughs. So in this last playthrough that I did whenever I did Bull Run, I did a really good job of making sure to use up all the time and get all my allied units pretty much wiped out, along with making sure and um, running my units at the end of the time. So all my units got a bit of extra stamina. So in this original run, it's 22, 29, 31, 26, and 22. So my melee is up by a couple points. My firearms is up to 26. My stamina is 31. In my new playthrough, it's 34 stamina and 31 morale, and I think it's 23 efficiency in my new run. So this is after Bull Run. So this is my newest playthrough before I had built all my units. So we'll look at this and compare. So I have like 700 more men, 800 more men almost. And my efficiency is up by 1. My morale is up by 2. My stamina is up by 3. My firearms are the same, and my melee went down by 1. So I got a slightly lower melee, which I am not all that concerned about. And then, and obviously, I was able to, so if I show you after Bolt done, so this is like, I'm done building my army out. This was the army that I could build. An infield, Lorenz's, Mississippi's, and Springfield's. Really big units, really nice units. I was able to buy all the infields already. I was able to buy all the scoped Whitworths that I wanted. I was able to buy the howitzers and the parrot and still have money for supply. Like, that's quite a bit of money for supply at this point in the battle. Like, I think this is really good. So then we'll go over here and we'll go to, so that was all my saves for Bull Run whenever I was redoing it. So this is after Bull that I did, that this is the video after Bull. So whenever I break down all these guys, I get a few fewer men, not very many, about 160 less men in this run than in my new run. The efficiency is 24, so it is the highest efficiency out of all of them. So the run I'm actually sticking with is 23. This one is 24. And then the morale is 28 instead of 31, so it's quite a bit down. That's 3 less morale. It's because I ended that battle early. I didn't just end it even on time, it was early. And then the stamina is 31 instead of 34 because I ran those guys at the end. Firearms is still 26. Melee is 22 instead of 21. So, I mean, I think the reason the efficiency is 1 higher is because the melee is 1 higher, basically. And maybe the firearms is like a decimal point higher. But overall, like, I think that my new run, having 3 more morale and 3 more fire, 3 more stamina is better than having 1 more melee and 1 more efficiency. I think I'll gain those, in the coming battles easily enough. And an extra couple hundred men is good, along with the fact that that running at the end is a really big part of, getting this to a better place. So I hope you guys liked it. Sorry for, if you guys don't like, more info about what I've done, then obviously feel free to tell me that you just want more playing and less talking about
Yes, sir.
stuff. And I will cut out some of this extra talking. You guys have a good one, and I will see you at Supply Depot, my Supply Depot. Stay alert, which is defending my Supply Depot. This one is also a very good to have heavy infantry, so fits my playstyle perfectly. You guys have a good one. Bye.